If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
Welcome to Ring Rust. I'm your host, Jeff Hicks, and with me tonight is Dan Kane.
This guy.
The Dr. Phil Seitz.
Bob Dole!
Your favorite football coach, Coach Loudy.
The Kinshasa was the key! The Kinshasa was the key!
Yeah, the key's fucking for the wrong door. And finally, our favorite and only living Von Erich member, Kenny Von Erich.
Balls!
He's still alive?
Yeah,
So-
somehow.
Just kill yourself. We're all waiting.
Well, today I wrapped myself up completely in bubble wrap, and like that kid from the Little Giants movie.
Did you fall down the stairs and just bounce?
No, I don't have any stairs. That's a preventative measure. I live in a single-level house, so there's no chance of falling down the stairs.
That's no fun.
You're
not
live
doing
a
it right
charmed
then.
life.
Well, I got to preserve the namesake of Von Erich.
Yeah. Well, I hope your little brother doesn't make it much longer.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
I
Good
know,
news
right?
is you'll probably be in the video game.
You are in the
I hope.
video game this year. You're going to take your residuals check and you're going to help us fund a Ring Rust airplane.
That works for me. I won't fly on it for obvious reasons.
We're going to call our plane the Blue Blazer.
Oh, Jesus.
As it falls from the sky and hits us all in the chest and we die.
We're going
So-
to hell. I love it.
Yeah.
Easily.
Well, anyway, this past week was SummerSlam, and what an okay SummerSlam it
Slam.
was. So before we get into that, let's start this week's show like we do every week with On This Day. Dan, what took place on this day in wrestling history?
There are two birthdays one birthday worth mentioning, and some guy that's in 205 Live. Fuck him. We don't care about him. Most important name born on this day. He is a former Cruiserweight champion.
If it's
He is
Chavo
also-
Guerrero, fuck him.
He's also SmackDown's #1 announcer.
shit.
Funaki!
Funaki, SmackDown
Well, time out.
#1!
Who's the other guy?
Grand Metalik. Fuck him.
Oh,
Funaki.
Yeah, fuck him. All about
Funaki,
Funaki.
baby.
All about Funaki.
Day one each.
What about Taka? Does anyone not love Taka?
I like Taka. It's not his birthday today, so I can't talk about Taka.
Yeah, it's
so
not
fuck
Taka Machine.
him.
I mean, Taka
it's-
gave us one of the greatest fucking bumps of all time.
What is
Jesus
this?
Christ, I thought he died.
the Royal Rumble 2000.
God damn, I cannot wait till it's January where we can do a whole Royal Rumble retrospective on Ring Rust.
And there's also a SummerSlam happened on this day.
Ooh, what year?
SummerSlam 2015.
Boo.
And what happened at SummerSlam? I don't even remember.
Do you want all the matches?
Just the main event.
Undertaker beat Brock Lesnar by submission.
That show sucked so much.
Wasn't that last year's, or was that 2015?
He
That
just
was
said, "Welcome to Ring Rust, Loudy. Wake up!"
Yeah, 2016 was when Brock Lesnar tried to bludgeon Randy Orton to death.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Oh. Apparently, also on the starts, Cloudy isn't listening. The Rock tapped out to Ken Shamrock, and then it was reversed.
Sorry,
Never
I
forget.
took a pretty bad bump at practice today.
How? You're a coach.
Yeah, I know. The kids don't know what the fuck they're doing, so I went out and played a running back and went out for a pass, and I went to go jump for the ball, and it went over me, and then I luckily tucked my chin and didn't land on my head, but I think I might have because my neck was killing me afterward.
You're old.
And I know I pulled a hamstring in practice like a week ago. That was fun.
Hammy.
You're really bad at your job.
Yeah. Hey,
You're
my
the coach.
job's
You're not supposed to get hurt.
my job's to coach, not play.
Well, then stop it and just fucking stand on the sidelines and yell at those little black kids. So, anything else happened on SummerSlam 2015 of note, Dan?
Cena lost the U.S. title when Jon Stewart ran in with a chair.
Oh, that faggot.
I mean,
And it's also the night that the New Day started their record-setting tag team title reign.
who'd they beat? The Usos?
They beat
Oh.
Los Matadores and the Lucha Dragons, and the Tag Team Champions, the Prime Time Players.
I really liked those guys.
Of course you
do.
did.
Titus Worldwide.
They were making $1 million moves, and now they're probably only making maybe 6-figure moves if they're lucky.
Well,
They're making $10 moves. Where the fuck's Darren Young at?
San Francisco.
Moves of his ass.
Darren Young was the least interesting wrestler in the last decade.
Is he?
Yeah, name something great he's done.
He did a
Won
thing
the tag,
once.
won the tag
saying
team titles.
In my opinion, there's more or less interesting people.
Fine, Adam Rose.
Baron Corbin.
Byron Saxton.
He's not a wrestler.
He was.
He was.
Yeah.
Have you not
shitty
seen his
one.
finisher?
No.
Have you not seen his finisher?
It's
I
finished.
have. It was a shitty finisher.
Have you not seen this finisher?
Byron Saxton's finisher makes the Worm by Scotty 2 Hotty look like a fucking nuke dropping on somebody.
Because it is, bro.
Dropped a bomb for me, baby.
If you had to take the Worm and then the hip hop drop, you are fucked.
Fucked
If
like
you
Chuck.
wait out long enough to take the Worm, I would be the guy that just runs in and goes for the pin right there.
Not to mention the stink face.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't say that.
Cloudy, you would love that. Hashtag butt stuff.
Mhm.
Only if it came from a chick, bro.
What if it was a chick with an ass that big?
If it was
Oh,
Nia
God,
Jax,
that'd
then
be
yes.
Ooh, big bag of
Nia
throw.
Jax's ass is kind of flat, though.
Yeah, she's got
You
a
could
fat
fix
girl
that.
ass.
That's fine.
For a good
She's
reason.
Not like most girls. So, before we talk about SummerSlam, the big event for this week, let's talk about NXT Takeover.
Yay.
So, who has the match card? And
I do.
would like to give us a quick rundown. Kendo?
Yeah, I
tell
got
us
a whole
about
thing
NXT
about it.
Takeover.
Okay, so NXT TakeOver Brooklyn Part Trace. Show started with Johnny Wrestling taking on Andrade Cien Almas. It was a very high energy match. It was a lot of fun, very entertaining. Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano, for you guys that don't know, is super over with the crowd. People love him. He looked like he was set up for the win when Almas's escort, the good-looking broad named Zelina Vega, threw a hashtag DIY shirt in Gargano's face right before he was about to hit his finisher, causing the distraction necessary for Almas to hit him with the DDT for a win.
Zelina,
Then-
a.k.a. soon-to-be Mrs. Austin Aries.
Yeah, that's the one. The next match we got was the tag team titles between the Authors of Pain and Sanity. This was a really great tag team match with a lot of back and forth. You could tell that the teams had a lot of in-ring chemistry. They were going crazy, and things went to a fever pitch when there was some suicide dives. Everything's going on, and then Nikki Cross jumps in. People are popping for that, giving her the yes chant. She climbs to the top of the post and dives onto Akam, who catches her midair in a crossbody. And then Killian Dane comes flying down the side of the ring and pretty much throws himself into a crossbody through both of them in through a table. So it was like a huge table spot where like 3 people went crashing through a table. I would just like to mention I love Nikki Cross. I would wife her up right now. Yeah, she looks
Not if
crazy.
I wife her up first.
Good luck.
You're already spoken for, Loudy. Shut it.
Besides,
Nikki Cross.
dude, you hurt yourself in junior high practices. I've got you beat.
Shut up, Kendo.
And then the match ended when Wolf and Young hit a combination suplex, belly-to-belly suplex, neck breaker on Razor for the win for Sanity, new tag team champions NXT. And then after the match, there was a surprise assault by Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. They form a group called Red Dragon. They made their debut. They made their debut and
Debut?
beat the shit out of both. Yeah, they made their debut and beat the shit out of everybody except Nikki Cross because you can't hit women in wrestling. Well, I mean, you could if you're like Mark Arrow.
It's not
She
1999.
was like nuts. She was still kind of unconscious anyway. so
Yeah,
I don't
she was
think it
still
mattered.
laying on the side of the ring selling that she just got destroyed through a table.
She got
The next.
dead.
Yeah, the next match saw Aleister Black take on Hideo Itami. This was a really good match to watch because it was stiff as hell. You could tell those guys were really fucking lacing into each other. It was like a 12-minute match, but it was like 12 minutes of fucking high-intensity, hard-hitting, beginning to end. I'm pretty sure Aleister Black picked up the win in that one.
He did hit him with Black Mass.
That's right.
Hideo Itami.
I missed the very end of that because I got an untimely phone call from a relative. The next match was your women's title match with Ember Moon taking on the undefeated Asuka. This was easily the match of the night on the NXT card, and probably top 2 or 3 of the entire SummerSlam weekend. Fast pace, begin and end, lots of storytelling for the people that actually enjoy that in wrestling, and not just spot fests and shitty things that Big Cass does.
Sorry.
It was back and forth the entire match. Ember Moon actually got in a surprisingly substantial amount of offense on Asuka. There was lots of near falls. The match ending was in doubt the whole time. Like, you could never really say. There was a lot of times it was like, is this where Asuka finally loses? Because
this was a fantastic match.
This was just amazing. And so then Ember Moon hits her Eclipse on Asuka, and it looked like she was about to win, but Asuka kicks out at like the very last split second. Moon did a very good job of selling like frustration and desperation to try to finish her off, because it's like, I'm hitting her with everything and nothing is working. She went for another, I think she went for another Eclipse that was countered into an Asuka lock and eventually tapped out. Side note, Asuka broke her collarbone during this match.
Yep.
Not sure where. I haven't seen anything that said where or when she broke her collarbone. She just broke it during the match.
I was going to say, I didn't notice it until the end when the ref went to raise her hand, and she's like, no, fuck off.
Yeah.
And he raised her other hand.
Yeah, so yeah.
She was favoring that shoulder after the match.
Yeah.
But she didn't act like it at all during the match.
No, I saw it as selling. So I'm like, okay, she's just selling that she's hurt. And then, like, the next day it comes out, she broke her fucking collarbone and still kept going. So who's the bitch now, Sin Cara? Oh, I broke my finger. She looks to be out 6 to 8 weeks. They said there's no timetable on her return yet, but a broken collarbone is at least a 6 to 8 week injury. So that leaves the question of what will happen in the women's title scene in NXT. I have an idea of what I think would be a really great way to book it. Triple H might do it that way because he's a little bit smarter than Vince. So
how would you book it?
Back from the grave and win?
What I would do is I would create like a women's tournament on NXT for the vacant title. Be like, we need to have a champion. We don't know how, like, sell it as in, we don't know how long Asuka's going to be gone. And then you could have it to where you have the tournament. And then when the tournament gets to the finale and the match is over, and before you crown the new champion, Asuka come back and then be like, I never lost that. That's mine. You didn't win it. And then fight right there on the spot for it and then lose. Or just crown a new champion and then, like, out of nowhere, Asuka just shows up on Raw or SmackDown.
Like, I feel like she'd have to at least drop the title. I mean,
true.
I feel like if she's stripped of it, it kind of shits on the title a little bit. And the only reason I think that is because it's like, you know what? Okay, in this case, maybe not, but in a case where it was like, okay, I'm done with this title, I'm going into the main roster now, totally felt like she would, in that case, would shut on the credibility. But I guess if it's due to injury, maybe not so much.
Right, and it would keep the mystique up of she never lost it. You could still bang the drum of her being, because she could always just show up on main, like interrupt like a match that's getting ready to happen, or just come out, and she could just be like, I have nothing left to prove in NXT. I've beaten everybody in front of me. I was the champion for this long, undefeated. I don't need to be there anymore to prove anything. I don't care about that title anymore because I've got bigger aspirations. You know, something like that.
I guess here's my other problem with it is I fear that, let's say, for example, she goes up and tries to face and goes up to like SmackDown and faces like Charlotte or something like that. Let's just say, for all intents and purposes, that she is that she is women's champion at that time. I just fear it's like, oh, you may have held this title for so many days, but you're like on the, like, you know, main roster now or some bullshit. I just don't want to see it get shit on. The fact that she did something that awesome, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, fuck it, it wasn't here, so it kind of doesn't exist, but we'll acknowledge it kind of.
Well, she could always show up on the main roster and just destroy everybody in her path and fucking take the SmackDown Raw Women's title and hold it for a really long time.
I was going to say, my problem, you do this with Asuka in NXT, and she holds the title for fucking ever. If she doesn't come up to the main roster and win a title right away, then that kind of kills her.
Oh, absolutely.
So
So in
But
other
that's
words,
what
that's going to
Vince
happen
does.
because
He-
that's
yeah.
what. Yeah, I was going to say because
that's
Vince
what
will be
Vince
booking
does.
it, and she'll be dancing by the end of the year.
Yeah, he buried people, and then that's all she wrote.
Right now, they probably want to keep her in NXT until that Mae Young Classic, and then they get all them people in.
Yeah.
True.
Because other than Ember Moon, there's really nobody challenging. For
I
the
was
NXT
about to
Women's title.
ask, like, who the fuck else is down there
Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
besides Nikki?
Besides
But
Nikki
she's
and
a.
Ember.
Nikki's already been beaten how many times, and this is the second time Ember lost. So
Yeah.
What, two or three for Nikki? If
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah.
if Nikki was gonna win it, she should have won it that fucking last woman standing match.
Yes.
Uh,
that would have been the
that-
time.
That would have been the time for Nikki to win it because I actually watched that match, and I think I was actually watching it while we were actually recording an episode, and like there was a table spot where she and Asuka are on top of the ladder, and Asuka just I think flipped her over, and then they both went through the table, and then I can't remember if it was double count out or not, but at the end
Asuka got up
yeah.
like at the end.
Oh right, yeah, thank you.
Oh, wait.
Asuka got what?
Yeah, you're the one where they didn't get up. You're thinking of like the fucking street fight thing they had where they went off like the sound table through a table and they both were out at the end of that. But no, she did fire. She fired her off like a ladder or something like that through like the announce table and
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, the announce table.
yeah, it was amazing. Either way, it was great.
But just to reiterate, if Nikki was going to win it, that would have been the time for her to win it.
Yes.
As always, anything with NXT, no matter what they do down there, they come up to the main roster and they get shit on. So they might as well stay in NXT.
Speaking of which, takes us to our final match of the NXT card with the glorious Bobby Roode defended his title against Drew McIntyre. It was the longest match of the night, and it was actually it was a really good match, but even with it being as good as it was probably the fifth best match of the 5 matches on the card, which tells you how great TakeOver really was. Two went back and forth, traded offense and finishers. Roode hit his glorious DDT twice, but McIntyre kicked out, and then when he went for the third one, he was countered, hit with a Claymore kick, and Drew McIntyre is your new NXT champion.
2/3 of 3MB.
That's right. After the match, he was attacked by Fish and O'Reilly, and then this crowd started going nuts because Adam Cole, baby, hit the ring from out of the crowd and pummeled the shit out of McIntyre, and the show closed with him standing tall, holding the belt up over the newly crowned champion to make a statement that Adam Cole is now in NXT.
You forgot about the other two.
What, Fish and O'Reilly? They kicked the shit out of him, too.
Yeah.
But I already mentioned that they kicked the shit out of other people.
Yeah,
They were
but
there.
They distracted him at first.
They
and that's what Adam
distracted him.
Cole
That's
came- yeah.
how he got in the ring.
Yeah, and then Adam Cole came in and just started fucking waylaying the guy. It was great. And that was the NXT Takeover. It was extremely good. Once again, it set down the marker that says we're better than the main roster. And the main roster at no point said, hold my beer, and tried to do them over. They just said, you're right, we are better. Let's go put on a shit 6-hour show. Which,
Yeah.
Well,
by
on
the
a
way,
scale of 1 to 10, what are you guys going to give this?
I
I
would
give
say,
it
Takeover?
I'll give TakeOver a 9.
yeah, 9.
I'll give it a 9.5.
Yeah, 9.
Okay, well, it's unanimous. Everyone likes this.
It was
a
a great-
show.
Great pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah.
Better than SummerSlam, so.
Yeah, every
And
takeover.
just think about it this way: that Takeover pay-per-view is as long as SmackDown normally is for the most part, and it gave you exactly what you wanted. It gave you perfectly paced matches. It gave you great storytelling for the most part. It gave you not only wrestling, but for those spot monkeys out there, gave them some decent spots too.
Mhm.
And it wasn't shoved in my face. It wasn't. It wasn't. You know, it was people that are genuinely over with the crowd, and it didn't feel. In this, we'll get into this later, but it felt like it didn't feel forced, like SummerSlam did.
Everything with the main roster feels forced.
Yes.
Well, moving on to SummerSlam, Kendo.
All right. SummerSlam started at 4 Central, which is the correct time zone for all you peasants listening, which is 5 o'clock in New York and on the east side of the country. And it opened up with a 6-man empty arena match between the Hardys and Angle Jr. versus the Miz Sambo. This was obviously a throwaway match just to get these guys in the ring and participate at SummerSlam. It ended when Miz took advantage of a tag that You Suck Jr. did not see, and he hit him with the skull-crushing finale for the win. The question is, why isn't the damn IC belt being defended on the main show? It's the Intercontinental title. It should be
because
on the main
fuck
show.
you. That's why.
Obviously.
The IC title has a history of not being defended on SummerSlam, dude.
Yeah, I know, but it's fucking stupid. But it's all right. Miz beat You Suck Jr. for a win. Next was Neville getting his Cruiserweight rematch on Tozawa. And I learned during the week that apparently the reason why the belt changed on Raw earlier in the week was because Vince decided that afternoon to make a title switch to get people excited for SummerSlam.
What a stupid fucking thing, Vince.
Yeah, great idea, old sack. It was a decent contest for the 85 people in the audience able to watch it. And it ended when Neville hit the red arrow to Tozawa's ass and rolled him over for the pin to reclaim his gold. Neville, by the way, did an amazing job of selling how much the belt meant to him because, like, when he won, he got the belt. He's like just staring at it, like with like a wicked smile on his face. Neville's great because he never breaks character. The final match of the premature show was the Raw Tag Team title or SmackDown Tag Team title match, in which the Usos regained their titles over the New Day. It was actually probably the match of the night until the main event, and easily the best pure wrestling match on the entire show. There was lots of in-ring. Lots of action inside and outside of the ring. And I have noted that this group never puts on a bad match. When New Day and the Usos are together, it's usually pretty good, whether it's 5 minutes or 15 minutes, or in this case, it was like almost 20 minutes. They put on a good match. It was good.
And Xavier Woods almost died.
Yeah, Xavier Woods almost died. Match got wrapped up at the end when they isolated... it was Big E and who? Either way.
Big E and Xavier.
Yeah, that's right. The Usos isolated Big E. They each hit him with a super kick, then they hit him with super kicks in stereo to set up a big double splash for the win and to get the titles back. And then we had a KFC commercial where everybody was like trying to like audition to be the new Colonel, and we found out that the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels is your new Colonel. Apparently, he came out, danced, looked 25% old man, 75% showstopper, and that led into the main show, which kicked off with Juan Cena versus Baron Corbin in a Cena clearly doesn't fucking care match.
Can you tell me the rules of those matches, please?
Yes, please.
Essentially, the rules of this match are Cena puts absolutely no fucking effort into it. He spends the majority of the time making fun of Baron Corbin.
And he must win by burying his opponent.
Yes. So Cena spent the majority of this time making fun of Corbin. When the crowd was chanting, "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks," Cena could be audibly heard like pointing at the crowd, showing Baron Corbin like the dueling chants and saying, "They're not cheering for you. They're not here to see you." Something to that effect. That, you know, more or
He
less.
actually
saying,
did say that.
Yeah.
He's like, they're not cheering your name.
They're not here for you.
Yeah. He essentially was pointing out that Corbin sucks and no one cares about him. Cena even left the ring at one point, picked up JBL's hat, put it on, and like pointed at Corbin and laughed at him. And essentially, Cena made him look like an idiot and acted like a cartoon of himself. There was a little bit of back and forth. Baron actually got in a little bit of offense. And then it ended when Corbin went after Cena. Cena ran out of the ring, dove back into the ring. Corbin came back in the ring. They did it again, and this time I think when Corbin came in, he got sent down with 1 AA to Burial City.
Right.
1 AA! Normally, everybody kicks out of the first AA. Not Baron, because you know what? Shovel, bang, over. The next match we got was the SmackDown's women's title match. It was a decent little bout between two pretty good workers in Naomi and Natalya, but it was completely overshadowed by the fact the crowd was expecting Carmella to come cash in any second because of how much they teased that idea on the lead up to the match. During the pre-show, Carmella was parading around in a very nice-looking outfit for her, and really teasing the idea of cashing in. Plus, it's in Brooklyn, and she's from Staten Island, so there was all that stuff going in. Like, everybody was expecting her to cash in. Didn't happen because eventually Natty locks Naomi in the sharpshooter and proceeds to shove her glow up her marvelous-looking ass to take home the title about 10 years later than she should have. No cash in. Next, we got the match of the night. It was Big Show versus Big Cass in a custody of Enzo in a shark cage match.
Really?
Yeah, this was awful. The match
Was it better than the Dominic custody match?
Where the hell is Vicky?
No, because at least with Dominic, he's a kid, so he could probably grow up to be something decent. Here, if you won, you got custody of Enzo, and nobody fucking wants him. The match felt like it went on for about 16 hours, even though it was only 10 minutes, and it came to an end after Enzo lathered himself up in baby oil to escape the cage, which, by the way, was not very high up in the air. I was disappointed by how low this fucking cage was hanging. Jericho was way higher. And he escapes the cage only to get his head kicked off of his body by Cass. Cass then finished off Big Show, thank fuck, and everyone was grateful for that.
Yay.
Out came Orton to take on Rusev in a false count only in the first minute of the match. Rusev jumps Orton before the match even starts. They finally get back in the ring. Bell goes off. Rusev charges Orton, only to be countered into an out of nowhere for the win. We are officially on Rusev Future Endeavors watch.
And it was a 6-second match.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Bell rang. Rusev went charging at Randy. All of a sudden it was Randy, bang, done.
Yep.
The official time is 10 seconds.
Well, they said 6 seconds several times. So.
Either way, we are currently here at Ring Rust on the official Rusev to Future Endeavors watch.
Yeah, the rumor is that he's asking to be let out of his contract. He's not happy with how he's being booked.
Survivor Series.
None of us are happy with the way he's being booked.
Yeah, he's a much better superstar than they give him credit for. I don't know if he pissed somebody off or what, but
there was a story a few months ago that Rusev cut his hair, and that really pissed off Vince and all the guys back, the bookers backstage. So essentially, Vince and his fucking cronies were all pissed off backstage. He does, but I guess you can't Machka without it.
Right, some superstars don't look bad. Like Triple H needs to grow his hair back out.
He can't.
Why?
Because he's going bald.
I don't give a shit.
I'm just saying he can't grow his hair. That's why he cut it.
Yeah, his excuse was, as a head corporate honcho of this big company, he probably should look more business and professional and not have long hair. But the unofficial story is, I don't want to look like Hulk Hogan.
Just get some bandanas, dude.
I don't want the fading mullet going.
Whatever.
So, Moving on. After that was the Raw Women's title match where Sasha took on champion Alexa Bliss. Alexa clearly had lost face on as she came to the ring, foreshadowing her dropping of the belt to Sasha in a rather lackluster bout. Was anybody really super entertained in this match?
No.
I finally became attracted to Alexa Bliss.
I believe we were all taking bathroom breaks at the time.
Yeah, because they clearly, I pointed, like I said, you could tell, when they're coming to the ring, you can tell if somebody's about to lose their belt. Sometimes they have that look of what is like lost face. I'm just going out here to go through the motions, not be champion anymore. And both of them
Randy Orton.
Yeah. So when Alexa came out, she clearly had a look on her face of, I'm not really too thrilled that I'm about to lose my title, especially to somebody I hate, and blah, 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 blah. Sasha came out looking like the dinosaur from Jurassic Park that killed Newman.
That's exactly what we all said.
Yeah. So she, spit the venom into fucking Alexa's face, bank statements her, game over. That was it for that. Did you
guys hear about Sasha Banks' husband over the weekend? He got into some spat with a fan or something like that.
That's her fucking fault. That's her fault for ignoring all. She's one of the only superstars that ignores all the fans outside hotels and outside the arenas and stuff. It's that's your fucking fault.
I thought they insulted him by saying, "Dude, she totally married down for you."
No, they called her some dude got in his face, a fan, and called his wife. He said, "Your wife's a bitch," and that's what started it.
Well, them's usually fighting words.
It's when you treat your fans like shit, you deserve it.
The fans right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand if she was heel Sasha and playing the character outside of the thing, because I know when Jericho is heel, he acts like a heel at fucking appearances and shit. He plays the character all the time.
I got him to break that once.
Did you? Good job. How'd you do that?
Yeah. Dude, I didn't tell you that story where I met him right around WrestleMania 26, and he was with Fozzy. And I brought him this card, and I said to him, I'm a big fan of yours, but ever since you got a haircut, I always mistake you for other people. I hope you don't mind signing a piece of merchandise that's a little old. And I gave him a trading card with Edge on it, and he just looked at me and smiled, and then signed it Chris Jericho.
Nice.
So, I have that somewhere. Also, that's the day before I met CM Punk. Laddie, if I ever find that, you can have it.
Sweet.
I just have no clue where I put the fucking thing.
An Edge trading card signed by Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, yeah, she's a major twat.
I mean, it's.
And I never liked her.
I liked her when she's in NXT, but it's like, you know, the fans are what make you, and if you're gonna treat them like shit, then you don't deserve to be there.
I like to look at her.
You're where you are because, you know, the fans buy your merchandise and they cheer you on during matches. If you don't pander to the fans every once in a while, then what good are you? Get the fuck out.
You're just a guy trying to get rich.
I mean, even Undertaker, a guy who rarely breaks character. Oh, you know, he does Make-A-Wish and stuff.
Does he?
He does. There's videos of him doing Make-A-Wish.
Just as a kid, I wouldn't ask for the Undertaker to come see me because he's the dead man.
Well,
if you're a Make-A-Wish kid, you're going to be dead soon, so it's kind of
morbid. A lot
morbid.
of them were back when he was American Badass. But.
Yeah. And as he got older, like, he was willing to, like, come out of character for, like, kids and shit and at, like, fan shows and things.
He did it for, he did one Make-A-Wish. It was on their website for WrestleMania 30. While they're in New Orleans.
I believe you guys. I don't know. I'm not an Undertaker fan, so I don't follow anything he does.
All right, back to SummerSlam. Finn Balor took on Bray Wyatt.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we're getting to the good part.
It's almost over, Jeff.
Finn Balor took on Bray Wyatt in a Battle of the Entrances bout. The Demon Finn is essentially Finn Balor, only with different paint job and growls a lot. The usual happened in Bray Wyatt feud bouts. He acted all spooky and shit and then eventually lost.
Woof, woof.
Yeah, it was not the best matchup that you could have.
Hey Phil, when are you gonna start winning the pay-per-views again?
When did I ever win at pay-per-views?
Oh wait.
we can discuss that after this is over. After what felt like 48 days, the show finally picked back up again with the Raw Tag Team titles between Cesaro and Shield 2017. High energy match that highlighted both teams' attributes. Fans tried to hijack the show with beach balls, but Cesaro bolted into the crowd, grabbed one, tore it up, and turned the show in the right direction as the crowd actually heated up for the right reasons and stopped trying to hijack the show.
That was great.
Yes, it was. The match ended with a Rollins super kick on Sheamus that turned into a Dirty Deeds by Ambrose. And new tag team champions on Raw, Dean Ambrose, became the latest Grand Slam champion in WWE with the win.
By the way, they're not. I believe they've added it to their website. Beach balls are banned.
Good.
It's on there with no laser pens and no cameras.
Is doing the wave punishable by death on their website? Because that should be.
We could only hope.
I personally think anybody that participates and or tries to start a wave should be executed on the spot. That goes for anything. You could be at a football game that's 56-0.
Somebody's going to have to, as I say, somebody's going to have to monitor that show with an AK-47. Then
it's fine.
So the Detroit Lions is the perfect team to implement that rule because 1, there will be guns, and 2, it'll be 56-0.
Yeah, most stadiums have like high up like press booths and stuff like that, and you could just totally perch some snipers in there and like turn into like fucking Black Sunday. And just start sniping people. It will only take a few instances of that happening, and that shit will take care of itself. The next match was the U.S. title match with Here Comes the Money as guest referee. Not the best KO versus AJ match, as they put on far better performances, because the majority of this match was overshadowed by Shane and the who will he fuck over story angle going on. Both guys got into it with him over the course of the match. KO hit a pop-up powerbomb on AJ for a 3 count that was waved off because AJ had a leg on the rope for a break that everyone saw except Shane, he
was looking right at it.
Until he counted to 3.
Yeah, AJ had a leg on the rope for a break that everyone except Shane saw for days before he finally noticed after the pinfall. He waved it off, infuriating Owens. AJ took advantage, and a phenomenal forearm later led to him retaining his title. And moves us on to the penultimate match of the night, which was the copy-paste finish match between WWE Champion Jingle My Balls and Shinsuke Nakamura. It was the same match we had seen several times. Jinder was getting his beat or was getting his ass beat, and the Sings create a distraction, get their asses kicked, Jinder hits finisher and wins. Seriously, this shit again. Side note, WWE is going to Indy in September, hence why the Gender Bender retained his title.
I had a feeling that was coming up.
Yeah, I heard that yesterday, and I was like, that makes sense now. But essentially, you don't have to watch Jinder Mahal matches from now on whenever they're on a pay-per-view or on SmackDown or anything like that. Just go get a drink.
I actually did not watch this match. I cleaned the kitchen.
Yeah, say get a drink, clean something, go make dinner, go have a smoke. Because essentially what's going to happen is Jinder's going to get his ass kicked. Sing 1, Sing 2 are going to get involved. Jinder will take care of the distraction with his win, and that's every fucking match that he's had on the main roster right now since he got his push. The last night of the match was the Universal Championship Fatal 4-Way, which was the most...
Wait.
The last night of the match?
The last night of the match?
Yeah, the
I
last
thought
night
that's
of the
what
match.
he said, but
That's impressive.
I wasn't sure.
Last match of the night was the Universal Championship Fatal 4-Way match. Most entertaining match of the night because it was a spot fest for the majority of the bout. The match started with all 4 guys wailing on each other and quickly spilled out to the outside, where Braun Strowman proceeded to try and beat Brock Lesnar to death by slamming him through multiple tables before dropping one on top of him.
Which was awesome.
The medics came out and dragged his carcass out of there while Braun beats Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe with ring stairs.
Yeah, and a chair. He threw another fucking chair at him.
Yeah, he did. He fired another fucking chair like a lawn dart right at both of them.
I hope so much that that's in the game.
That would be awesome.
That's one of your that's your signature outside the ring.
There you go.
So it's too late to get that in. It's going to be in 2K19.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
It'll be there.
It'll be like
DLC.
a special. It'll be a special patch. Reigns begins to fight back because of fucking course he does. He clocks Braun Strowman over the side of the head with the point of the stairs, causing him to bleed. Samoa Joe tries to take him out the coquina clutch. They take turns hammering on each other until Lesnar comes storming back out from the backstage area. He takes everyone out, and then Reigns comes back again because of fucking course he does. He jacks off his arm multiple times on Lesnar and looked like he was about to win, but thankfully Brock reversed his spear, attempted to an F5 to retain the title and save us all from another Roman Reigns title run.
And since there was nothing superior on Raw and SmackDown, I will go ahead and say that this is my match of the week.
Yes. I think we could
Even
all...
over Asuka?
Yes, just because I didn't get the outcome that I wanted out of that match, or that should have happened.
Why would you want Ember Moon to win?
Because
she's a one-trick pony. That fucking dive she does.
No.
It's just something different.
That was a fantastic match.
Yeah.
And Asuka's ready. And as much as I know that it will ruin her, it's time for her to come up to the main roster. She's
Not
been there.
if.
She's
Not
been there
if.
too long.
She will not be ruined if the following happens. Tomorrow morning we wake up and see that Vince McMahon died.
Woo!
And Kevin Dunn killed himself because he was so distraught and his teeth just couldn't handle it.
I mean, we can always take a road trip to Greenwich.
It's not worth it to that extent. I don't know if taking out those 2 guys is really worth me seeing good wrestling. I could just focus on NXT.
I mean, we could get rid of Triple H too.
But Triple H is the one that does NXT.
Okay, fine, Stephanie.
Linda, if you're listening, slowly poison your husband to death.
And Kevin Dunn. Although I'm sure, like, once Vince is gone, his days will be numbered anyway. Because if Triple H takes over, he's just gonna be like, "Hey, Kevin, why don't you get why don't you take your big teeth and just get the fuck out of here?"
Kevin Dunn makes more than most of the wrestlers.
I'm gonna go get Jim Cornette.
I like Jim Cornette.
Jim Cornette knows how to fucking book wrestling. So does Dutch Mantel, otherwise known as Zeb Coulter.
Yeah, but Jim Cornette works for GFW now.
Yeah, but
so does Zeb
it doesn't
Coulter.
mean shit.
I guarantee you that if Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn were gone and Triple H was running the company, and he called GFW offices and asked for Corny and fucking Dutch and said, "Hey, you two, contracts right here, let's go," they would both be on a plane to fucking Connecticut within an hour.
I don't know. I was listening to a little bit of Cornette earlier at work, and he's like, I like this free agent kind of life that I'm living in, this, that, and the other. He's not really signed to anybody right now, and it really didn't sound like he wanted to be either.
He would do it if the money was right.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
Anybody would.
And if he was...
I don't care what he says on his podcast. I listen to his podcast.
Yeah.
He'd fucking promote Joey Ryan if the money was right.
Yeah, and if they said, we'll make you the head booker, I think he would be like, all right, I'm in.
I think a lot of people would book Joey Ryan just because he's over with the fans.
Jim Cornette would praise the boogeyman if fucking the money was right.
Yeah.
Bertha Faye would be attractive to him if the money was right.
So that was SummerSlam. We did our predictions last week, which the Jeff Hicks won.
Woo!
Is the World Class Bullshitters pay-per-view prediction champion as of right now, with a 10.
Excuse me, Ring Rust. Ring Rust.
Did I say
pay-per-view champion? You said World Class Bullshitters.
Oh yeah,
You said the night. You said the last night of the match.
It's a sister company.
God damn it! I feel like I was put in an ankle lock by Ken Shamrock, and he wouldn't let it go, and got the decision reversed.
You know, you tried
That's
really
the way
hard
it
to
goes,
get that, man.
That's life.
Yeah, well, that's what
You're
happens on the
grasping at
last night of
straws,
the match.
bro.
Yeah, well, it's the last night of the match. That shit happens. Anyway, Jeff won with a 10-3 record. Dan, Loudy, and I came up short at 9-4, and Phil was trailing at 7-5.
I was on that lonely island.
Enjoy that.
Hey, it was still positive.
Lonely
I
Island.
still had a positive kill-death ratio.
He did.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the one time when somebody goes 0 in however many matches there are.
That'll happen for you at No Mercy.
I mean, it's possible to
Fucking
try to intentionally tank it and go over, but
We're gonna do this for every pay-per-view, so it'll be good times.
And
Kendo, I hope it happens to you so it can be Hofer the Ofer, because I'll never let that go.
that's fine.
dude, the
Can
next
go the-
pay-per-view isn't for 5 weeks.
Yeah, we got.
Oh
Whoa.
my god.
What? Oh, how will I live?
The only thing is, like, with the way that WWE books things these days, it's going to be almost impossible to go over just because
It's so easy to see what's
Wow, good
happening.
most of the results are telegraphed well ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like there's one match announced so far for No Mercy.
Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman.
Yeah,
And
Brock Lesnar's
Brock Lesnar's winning.
Yeah, we're pretty sure
Still
that's going to
okay
happen.
with this match, though.
I'm pulling for Strowman.
Oh, I mean, we're all pulling for Strowman. We just
But
have
Brock
a
Lesnar's
very
winning.
good idea that Brock Lesnar's winning.
Is he though?
Yeah,
yeah.
he is.
Is he though?
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
No.
So that was SummerSlam and NXT Takeover. NXT Takeover, clearly the superior show.
Yeah, I mean,
I hate to
I
say it.
enjoyed.
I hate to say it, but I'm watching 205 Live, and this is actually a really good match between Neville and Tozawa for the Cruiserweight Championship.
Just wait till the end.
Was.
Yeah, wait till the end.
Wait till the end. I liked the end personally.
Of course you did.
That should be our running joke. Loudy likes everything.
Not everything.
99. What the fuck?
La-
99% of everything Loudy likes.
Is
Loudy
the last-
likes 1989 in wrestling.
This is the last night of the match.
Yeah.
Ouch.
There's a barn burner. So anyway, let's move on because Raw and SmackDown happened. So,
Ugh.
yeah, I know, right? Well, Raw was live from the Barclays Center.
Well, you know,
No, it was live from the Bars Gay Center,
yeah, the Bars Gay Center.
the
according
Blue Oyster Gay
As-
Bar.
To the
as
Miz.
called it. Like I said, I already told you my match of the night, so that tells you how Raw and SmackDown went. The show
your
opened,
match of the week.
or my match of the week. I'm sorry.
There you go.
My night of the match. The show opened with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman heading to the ring. Heyman recapped the previous night's events, and then Braun Strowman came to the ring. Strowman attacked Lesnar, putting him down with 2 running power slams before posing with the Universal Championship.
Wait, what's his name again?
Braun Strowman?
No, what's his name?
Say it like Sam Kinison.
Braun!
There's not really much you could have done with that.
Yeah, it's alright.
Just give your Raw report to Sam Kinison.
You want me to do a Bill Dwyer impression?
I thought you meant. Do you mean Bill Dwyer or Bud Dwyer?
Same thing. Anyway, Brooklyn Street Fight was next. Enzo Amore defeating Big Cass. This was a very weapons-heavy match. Enzo came down to the ring with a shopping cart full of shit.
Way to go, Raven.
Yeah.
Quote the Raven. Hate us.
Yeah. This match came to an apparent or a quick end when Big Cass went for the big boot on Enzo, got launched over the top rope, and landed really badly on his leg, and you could see it, but it didn't affect him till he got back in the ring, and then I believe he went for the Empire Elbow, and he collapsed, and so he rolled out to the knee, and you knew something was wrong right away because he's slamming his fist in the mats. He's like he knew he broke something or tore something.
The old X sign went up.
Yeah, the ref put the X up and stopped the match.
Have you guys seen that meme this week that said there's only one word to describe his body?
Yeah.
I have not. What does it say?
I have not.
God.
Oh, well, obviously it means soft, but still, it's hilarious. Dan, if you find it, put it in the chat.
Okay.
Backstage, Emma was complaining to Dana Brooke about not getting a shot at the Raw Women's Championship.
Did Dana Brooke complain about her boyfriend being dead?
Damn,
Back to her?
Jesus.
He didn't die until the next day, Jeff. Wait till
No, he
SmackDown.
died that night.
Whatever. He choked on food.
Like I said, there's a lesson to be learned here, kids. Make sure you chew your food thoroughly.
Yeah, 32 bites, or 32 chews per bite.
He fucking ripped dude, and he's killed by a piece of corn stuck in his throat.
If a piece of corn could
Hey,
take him down, he deserved
You
it.
never know.
You probably tried to eat the whole
I'd like
cob.
to know what the food was.
Emma was interrupted by Nia Jax, who walked in behind her as she was insulting.
Who?
Oh, I'm sorry, the Big Bag of Love.
There it is.
Where did that name come from?
Kendo.
Me.
Oh, okay.
You want to know where I got it from?
Yeah.
Okay, so there is this website. I don't know if it still exists. It's called Rotten.com, and you used
Ew, yeah.
yeah.
I remember that.
And they'd always have like really fucked up things, like people, like dead bodies and like murder scenes and all this shit. But there was like their Daily Rotten one time. It was like this it was like this naked fat woman and like this big plastic bag. Like I guess it was some weird sex kink, and it just said "Big Bag of Love." So since then, for the better part of the last 18 years, every time I've seen a big fat woman, I've referred to her as a big bag of love.
Oh my god.
Moving on.
Yeah, you're right. I hate it. Enzo Amore just came out after Neville won. God.
Oh, that's what it is. I thought it was the Big Bag of Love origin story that he was hating on.
I
No.
thought he Googled it.
Anyway, Nia promised that the hashtag Give Emma a Chance would now trend as hashtag Give Emma CPR on Twitter after their match.
Give Emma
Ha
blood
ha
stuff.
ha! Very funny, motherfucker.
After the commercial, the Big Bag of Love defeats Emma very quickly with a Samoan drop.
Squizzoshed.
Well,
Next,
Was it
we have
shorter than the
Elias
Rusev match at
Sampson,
SummerSlam?
fuck you, Vince, defeating R-Truth. Before the match, Elias sang a song talking about how awful R-Truth is. He actually sang a little bit of his song. It was kind of funny to hear him sing it. Elias picked up the victory after connecting with Drift Away, a swinging neckbreaker. Raw GM Kurt Angle came out and introduced the newest member of the Raw roster. I honestly thought for a second that it was going to be cool and it was going to be Bobby Roode, and it turned out to be John Cena.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah. John Cena came out and he didn't even say, he really didn't say I came to call. He said I came to call out one particular member of the roster, and Roman Reigns came out.
Mm-hmm.
The two were about to square off when The Miz interrupted both of them. He kind of had his pipe bomb moment, I guess. He told them that neither of them deserved any opportunities, that he was due for his moment. He went on and on about that, and kind of, I guess it was because he had an empty house match last night. Or the night before. Cena then proposed a tag team match between himself and Reigns versus The Miz and a member of the Miztourage. Then Samoa Joe came out and interrupted them and told The Miz that he would be his tag team partner. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Joe then attacked Cena while Reigns beat up the Miztourage. Next, we saw a 6-man tag. No, that wasn't. That was a 8-man tag. I'm sorry. Grand Metalik, Rich Swann, Mustafa Ali, and Cedric Alexander defeated Drew Gulak, Arya Daivari, Noam Dar, and Tony Nese. Nobody cares. Backstage, Charlie Caruso interviewed Neville, who began insulting Akira Tozawa. Tozawa and Titus O'Neil then showed up and said, "We're invoking our rematch clause tomorrow night on 205 Live. Bye-bye." Then it cuts to Jason Jordan asking Kurt Angle for a match with Finn Balor. Angle hesitantly made the match.
Daddy, can I have a match with Finn Balor?
Pretty much, that was the conversation. I don't want to, use, the father thing, blah, 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 blah. Next, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose came out to the ring and called out Sheamus and Cesaro. Instead, they got the Hardy Boys, who challenged Rollins and Ambrose to the match, who accepted. Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose defeat the Hardys, which is actually the only good match of the night, in my opinion. After a long back and forth, Jeff attempted to win by hitting a Swanton Bomb on Dean, who put up the knees and blocked it. Rollins hit Hardy with a knee to the face, then Ambrose connected with Dirty Deeds for the win. Skank Banks came out to the ring to tell the audience how important Brooklyn was to her, and how she was going to be a fighting champion. It may be important to her, but her fans apparently don't matter. Alexa Bliss then interrupted her and reminded her that she's never successfully defended the women's championship on Raw. She also told Banks that she wants a rematch on Raw next week. Finn Balor defeated Jason Jordan. Balor won a competitive match, following with a coup de grace. Then we had John Cena and Roman Reigns defeating The Miz and Samoa Joe. Roman Reigns accidentally delivered a Superman punch to John Cena as he went for Samoa Joe. Despite that, Cena was able to recover, as he always does, and hit the AA on The Miz, closing Raw. This was a very, very, very boring, lackluster show. Actually, I played Sonic the whole time. So,
well, let's move on to SmackDown before someone kills themselves out of the.
Moving on to hell. SmackDown, the show opened with AJ Styles coming to the ring and announcing he's reinstating the United States Open Challenge.
Ooh.
Of course, Kevin Owens came out and complained that Shane McMahon screwed him at SummerSlam. McMahon came out and protested, but Owens continued to complain until Styles granted him a rematch for tonight, with the stipulation that Owens gets to pick his own referee so he can't bitch or moan anymore. Styles was confident he was able to beat Owens no matter who he picks. Shane said that this would be Owens' last shot at the United States Championship while Styles holds the title. Next, Aiden English came out and sang himself to the ring, but then was interrupted by the moment of the week. The debut of Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode.
Glorious!
Yes, I was actually very happy. Not happy that he's on SmackDown. I believe he deserves to be on Raw, but whatever.
Oh no, he got put on the better show.
Well,
How could he?
Yeah, I mean, you want him to be on Raw just to fucking get beat by Cena and Reigns?
They need to put him in a better storyline. If they don't, he'll lose momentum.
He just debuted. Let him get some time in.
Yeah, he had to get an easy win.
You got to work on it quick. He's glorious. He can't face shitty wrestlers like Aiden English. Anyway, Bobby Roode defeated Aiden English. He hit the glorious DDT and got the pinfall. After the match, Renee Young interviewed Roode in the ring. He said Shane McMahon and Danny Bryan capitalized on the hottest free agent in sports entertainment, and said that SmackDown Live is now
glorious.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Backstage, Chad Gable met with Daniel Bryan. Bryan said he made a great deal for Gable. While they lost Jason Jordan to Raw, he made a deal with Kurt Angle that he would have to help him sign a better talent. Shelton Benjamin comes in picture, and now we have the tag team of Gable and Benjamin to debut next week on SmackDown Live.
And they will probably face the Ascension or some other shitty team.
Probably.
The Hype Bros.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did say shitty team, so Hype Bros fits.
I was expecting a heel turn
Bros
from the
stuff.
Hype Bros this week, and we didn't get one.
Nope.
I hate the Hype Bros.
I love the Hype Bros.
I
I
mainly
know,
just
Loudy.
I mainly just hate Mojo Rawley.
Who's the other Hype Bro?
Zack Ryder.
Woo woo woo,
You know it.
I
bro.
didn't. That's why I had to ask.
Speaking of the Hype Bros, the Usos beat the shit out of them. This was a non-title match. Jimmy Uso hit a super kick on Zack Ryder to get the pin. The
Are
champs
you just going to ignore the fact that there was a horrible fucking whiff of a super kick at ringside?
It wasn't really a whiff. He connected, but
Did he though?
He did. He went for like a full-on super hardcore super kick, but like, and then he's like slowed down halfway through it, and like it just he like.
It looked
I guess
so awkward.
He wiped his chin with his shoe. It was really weird looking. Check it out, actually. It was pretty funny. The champs cut another promo on the New Day after the match. Next, we have a handicap match. Shinsuke Nakamura defeats the Singh brothers to get revenge because they interfered. Nakamura got one of the Singhs to tap out to the triangle choke, which it wasn't even a triangle choke, to be honest. He didn't have his leg under his throat like you're supposed to. So
Just let it go.
he was choking him with his groin area.
Which is like how
anyway.
Shinsuke likes to roll dudes' faces in his groin area.
Yeah, there you go. Jinder Mahal jumped Nakamura after the match, but Nakamura quickly turned the tables and hit Mahal with the Kinshasa to lay him out.
Kinshasa was the key.
Not on Sunday.
Too bad.
Shut up, Kendo.
Natalya came to the ring and said this is her time. She will bring honor and respectability back to the women's title. Carmella and Ellsworth came out and reminded Natalya that while they might her time, she's on Carmella's clock. Ellsworth then reveals that, oh, well, you know, we turn on you in this match and, you know, we cash in. So, what a fucking idiot.
Brilliant writing.
We have the next match. Naomi and Becky Lynch defeat Carmella and Natalya. Carmella debated on cashing in the Money in the Bank depending on what happened during the match, clearly, but Natalya lost her patience, attacked Carmella. Natalya ended up outside the ring, and Naomi hit the split-legged moonsault on Carmella for the pin. Backstage, Dolph Ziggler returns and complained about all the things that seem to be popular with WWE fans. He complained about dancing and music and singing and on and on and on and on. I don't know if this is the character that they're rebooking him with. He sounds incredibly bitter.
But he's not wrong.
He's not. And I'm not saying that he is. I'm just saying this would be a good character for him, I guess. He's good at that heel role. He says he would return to the ring next week. Throughout the evening, Kevin Owens had attempted to find a special referee. He actually asked Sami Zayn to serve as referee, trying to pull him over to the dark side, I guess. Later on, they pick up in another segment, and Sami Zayn declines, throwing the referee's shirt in his face. Baron Corbin came along and said, I'll agree to referee your match. In exchange, you give me the first title shot if you win. Owens says, I will win, and you're on. Next, we get the United States Championship match. AJ Styles defeats Kevin Owens. During the match, Shane McMahon came to ringside because Baron Corbin was doing a really shitty job.
Surprise.
While they argued, Owens hit Styles with a low blow and went for the pin. McMahon pulled Corbin out of the ring, and Corbin pulled off the referee's shirt. They argued for a bit, and he threw it in Shane's face. Shane put on the shirt, jumped in the ring. Owens begrudgingly accepted to continue the match. Styles hit the phenomenal forearm and got the pin to retain. So begins the feud between Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens that we all saw coming for Survivor Series. And that's SmackDown.
I saw that match.
It was okay.
Yeah, I liked the ending. It made me laugh. I'm not saying it was memorable, but I chuckled.
There was nothing memorable really about Raw or SmackDown this week except for Big Cass breaking his leg.
Yeah, they blew their load over the weekend, which is fine. That's how you should do a pay-per-view. But
Big Cass is apparently going to be out for 9 months. He tore his ACL completely.
wait, is this real?
Yeah. Ace. It was a real injury. They're not.
No,
They're not 100% sure. They think it's either his ACL or his meniscus. ACL.
But is he really gone for 9
ACL
months?
would put him out longer. Meniscus is only a 6 to 8 week fix.
Oh, I hope he never comes back. I mean, I hope he's not that injured, but I just hope he never returns. That guy fucking sucks.
Yeah, meniscus is a quick.
I'm putting money on it being ACL.
Yeah, probably. The way he couldn't put weight on it, so it probably is his ACL.
Well, we'll wait and see, but it's funny. It's like karma. You give us a shitty storyline, and this is what happens to you. Because he sucks. He's tall, I get it. He's like Kevin Nash, who also fucking sucked. Like, what
Who
is so
also
great
had
about
leg
big cats?
problems.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash at least had personality.
I don't know how much personality he really had. Hey, yo.
That's
Scott
not even
Hall.
Kevin Nash.
That was
I like
Scott
Scott Hall. I take that one back. Fuck Kevin Nash. Quad tearing bitch. Remember that time we worked that wrestling show, Dan, and Kevin Nash was there?
That was fun.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about something good that happened this week in wrestling. Dan,
Yes.
the next roster reveal for WWE 2K18 was dropped today. Would you please tell us who the wrestlers were?
How long do I have?
30 seconds.
Like how, yeah, per wrestler.
Fuck.
No, just go ahead and read it. If you want to speed read it, cool. What you can do is read the list, then we'll discuss it.
All right, there were 37 confirmed names
You
today.
gotta do it in
In a
one
row?
breath.
Oh, that ain't happening.
One second. One second.
You
Just
can
let
do
it go.
Just hit your inhaler, Dan.
I got this. Goldberg, Earthquake, Anvil, Zabisco, Beefcake, Valentine, Edge, Godfather, Eddie Guerrero, Dana Bryan, Maurice, Naomi, Sasha, Bailey, Ivory, Natalia, Mickey, Becky, Tamina, Ember, Carrie, Kevin, Jay, Jimmy, Mojo, Ryder, Shinsuke, AJ, Bobby Roode, Miz, Roman, Rock, Orton, Triple H, Angle, Lesnar, Cena.
There you go.
What?
Wait, which Zabisco was that? Charlie Zabisco?
You should have paid attention, Jeff.
Do it again.
Do it backwards, in alphabetical.
And you have to read
So
each
there were
name
a couple-
backwards.
So, Bobby Roode's new. They released his intro today, which was fine. He has a little spinning turntable.
By the way,
I'm happy to
Ronald
see the
will have that
Godfather.
turntable.
I'm happy Godfather's back, and I'm happy Eddie Guerrero's back, if it's Eddie Guerrero from the same model as last year.
I think it will because they used his image from 2005, and 2K's lazy, so I don't think they're really going to focus too much on making him that different.
Oh, by the way,
No.
speaking of 2K, the the entrance music that I used for Ronald, the generic song, one of the generic songs.
Yeah.
They used it on a Raw promo video to advertise Raw next week. I was like,
How does that make you feel?
Ron's on the show.
We got the Suicide Pact coming back this year with Kerry and Kevin Von Erich.
Oh, I thought
Ooh,
Were they in last year's game?
they
They
were.
were DLC in last year's game.
I buy the DLC. I just didn't realize they were in the fucking game.
I just wish they would have had the Texas Tornado music.
No,
You're telling me they didn't?
Where is
No.
Chris Benoit? Damn it!
because it's based on the 80s form of Kerry Von Erich, not the shitty form of Kerry Von Erich.
Hey.
The dead version?
I was going to say, the shitty version that you speak of is Intercontinental Champion with only 1 foot, Kerry Von Erich.
That's what I just said. The shitty
Yeah.
version.
Yeah, but that takes a lot of work to win a wrestling match with 1 foot.
Look at Zach Gowen.
Yeah, he beat
He did with
Taker
one leg. Fuck you, Von Erichs.
But
Yeah.
Jeff, most importantly, Brutus Beefcake
Yeah.
is in the game again.
We can fight Beefer.
We get that fucking awesomely terrible, great entrance theme. I was more surprised that Ivory got put back in.
Yeah, me too, because no one used Ivory.
And Mickey James is in it, so there you go.
Oh, please have multiple Mickey James. That's all I want.
Please have Magnus.
2006.
No!
Who the fuck's Magnus?
Buddy, shut up.
If you can describe to me in one sentence who Magnus is, I'll consider your request.
Mickey
Call
James'
2K in the
husband.
morning. Yeah, no, it didn't happen.
If only he wasn't signed to TNA when this game was being made.
If only he didn't suck.
Will the first cuck wrestler be in the new game?
Oh, Mike Kanellis? Hell no, it's too late for that.
That's a shame.
Is it really? When's that guy been on TV last?
I was being very facetious.
Okay, good. Thank you. So, did anyone get a chance to see the Batista model for this year's game?
Did not.
Yes. It looks
It's
awesome.
ridiculously detailed. Like, I've never seen a more realistic wrestler in a game.
Yeah?
Yeah, look it up, man. There's this thing called Google.
No.
Nah, yeah. These assholes invented it back in the 90s. They were in a very famous TV show.
Fuck you.
Loudy loves that fucking show.
Which show?
What show?
Of course he does.
How do you not know the fucking theme song to the show you love so much?
I didn't hear. I didn't hear you.
What theme song goes? Back in the 90s, I was in a very
Oh,
famous
BoJack.
TV.
It comes out on the air.
Yeah, there you go.
How you doing?
Never heard of it.
It's shit. Don't watch it.
The best part of the show is the theme.
I'll send you the link to the theme song. It's 20 seconds long.
Ugh.
Don't act like you
It's-
don't know.
And I'm trying to hold on to my past. Okay, so I for one am going to buy the deluxe edition. Apparently, most of the deluxe edition pre-orders have sold out, so it's a hard thing to find, according to IGN.com.
I've got
It's
it
a
pre-ordered.
good thing we pre-ordered that shit.
Hey, man.
Many Ember Moons ago.
I pre-ordered it last week.
I pre-ordered it like a month ago.
Yeah, I was with you.
Yeah.
That was more than a month ago. That was the day we went to Fridays and got all that food, even though the service was shit.
By the way, Jeff, we missed the Super Nintendo Classics.
Maybe you missed it.
You pre-ordered one?
On Amazon.
Oh, on Amazon.
Okay, I'm just making that up. I sent them a thing that said, add me to the list. If they add more, I'll buy one. I didn't even think about it. Apparently they went up online in the middle of the night, and I was just like,
Yeah.
I have a Super Nintendo, and I have all the HD emulators or ROMs I need, so I can live without the little plastic box.
Yeah, it went online overnight, and apparently when GameStop's opened on Tuesday morning, there were 10 people lined up at each store waiting, and they didn't even know it was in the system yet. So,
Well, you know what we'll do when that comes out, Phil? Not play it.
yeah.
Just be like me. Just get a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, well, hey, Nick's building me one, so...
Well, that's my first thing to do once I move back to Camp Kendo.
I could have built you one, Jeff.
Dude, we could be like Loudy.
I built my own.
I'd rather
Get
not.
S-
Get a railbroken
Get an
Ryrick.
SNES Classic 10 years from now.
Oh, yeah. The only way I think that we could talk about the NES Classic, or the Super NES Classic on this show is if we talk about how great Super WrestleMania is, but that would be a lie.
Yeah, it's not.
There wasn't any good NES wrestling games that I can think of off the top of my head.
There was a WCW game that didn't suck, asshole. WCW had good luck with games.
Until the N64 era.
I wouldn't say that because
Revenge was awesome.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Revenge gets counteracted by Backstage Assault.
Does it? Because Revenge is kind of a revolutionary title.
Yeah.
Revenge
That's
was
like saying No Mercy gets counteracted by WrestleMania 18 because it was the next one on a Nintendo system.
If
different
Revenge
system. Their fault.
Revenge doesn't happen, you don't get the fucking WWF game that was groundbreaking, which was at No Mercy or whatever the hell.
WrestleMania. Well, WrestleMania
Technically, it was
2000 and No
WrestleMania
Mercy
2000.
came back to back. No Mercy's the good
Yeah,
one.
that's what I meant. Because if it wasn't for Revenge, that doesn't happen. Which Revenge was built off of the fucking World Tour, the WCW NWO World Tour
I love that
system.
that No Mercy came out versus Backstage Assault. Just so you could see which one was way worse.
Oh, dude, Backstage Assault was awful. I rented that and took it home, played it for about 15 minutes, and took it back. I was like, done. This is terrible.
I played the ECW N64 games, and they weren't as bad as Backstage Assault.
Anarchy Rules.
Yeah.
Wait, there was more than one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hardcore Revolution and Anarchy Rules.
Only
The
one.
only one that I knew was the ECW was similar to Attitude.
They both
That's
were.
the same game we're talking about.
Oh, I thought it was trash.
They
It is trash. You're not wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. better than Backstage Assault.
Oh, yeah.
Next week's episode, find a wrestling game that's worse than Backstage Assault. Or we could just figure it out right now, because this episode's really fucking short.
2K15.
Is it? I mean, you were the one to buy it right away.
Doesn't
I'd
mean
rather
it
play
isn't
Backstage
Reddit.
Assault.
I mean, I pre-ordered it
2K15.
too.
I didn't.
Yeah, neither did I, and I buy almost every wrestling game. But there are times where you just gotta fucking, like, put your foot down and be like, this is bullshit, I'm not gonna buy it.
My favorite thing about Revenge was we could go and change like their names, and so we just pretty much went through and like renamed the entire WCW roster.
Dildo McFuckstick.
We didn't have anything that bad that I can think of off the top of my head. Off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure we called DDP Dip Doodle Penis. Scott Hall was renamed Cock Small. And I can't remember. There was a guy named Kimchi. We called him Cum Cheese. And I'm trying to think of some other ones we had. My buddy's got the cart somewhere with all the names still in it because he busted it out like 5 years ago because he found it and we put it in and it was still all the way we renamed everybody.
Dude, I made all of
I might have to fucking
look like Billy Kidman.
Might have to fucking like call him up and be like, hey, you still got the fucking WCW Revenge game?
Well, when we come out to Camp Kenda to film the World Class Bullshitters movie, I'll bring an emulator and all the ROMs for every wrestling game for N64, and we'll just get together and play.
Perfect.
I was say, or if someone has an N64, I can bring my games.
We could.
No, because it won't be in HD.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I have 2 N64s, so
I have
could.
2 copies of No Mercy.
I have 1 copy of No Mercy with everything unlocked.
Well, my good copy broke, and the only characters you can play on the game are The Rock and Chris Jericho, which isn't normally a problem, but kind of gonna get old after a while to have The Rock versus Chris Jericho every fucking match on the card. Just saying.
No.
I'm trying to think. Raw 2? No, I've never played. See, the thing is, I haven't played Backstage Assault, but Raw 1 for the original Xbox is worse than Backstage Assault.
Dude,
Hey,
all
I made The
WWE
Rock win the
games
women's
on
title.
the Xbox were terrible.
Raw 2 was the best. I don't know why they didn't just port over SmackDown versus Raw back then.
I didn't either. WrestleMania 21,
Because-
that was great.
That game was fucking broken.
Was it really that bad?
I
I
have
always
that
wanted to
game.
get it.
It's broken, and if you'd like, do you have an original Xbox?
I do.
I will let you borrow my copy indefinitely until I request it back.
Fair enough.
Never gonna happen.
'Cause I will want it. I will want it back eventually, just to say, hey, I own this game. But
He wants to
I'll
play
go
as
ahead- if
Jimmy
I can find
Snuka.
it-
He's in the game.
No, but the weird thing is, like, in that game, the wrestlers would come out to the wrong parts of their entrances, the music would be wrong, the rock bottom was the exact same move as the bookend, meaning it was the same animation. Just, everything was off. The wrestlers looked bad.
Everything
know how
about
to
that game
describe
was
it.
bad.
There was points where I would phase out of the ring and the ring ropes would snap and then just reappear.
The game's just bad.
That's worse than Backstage Assault.
On Sega, they had a couple. There was the Royal Rumble and Monday Night Raw. As a kid, I played the shit out of those. Those were great.
Yeah.
I have played the Raw game because it's on my emulator.
WrestleMania, the arcade game. That was fun on the Sega.
That was fun for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was fun.
And then it got tedious. If you were playing 2-player, it wasn't so bad.
Dude, I love doing that shit. Tag team and beat the entire roster up.
Yeah. I just remember on Royal Rumble.
I did like the gauntlet match in Attitude.
Yeah. I remember on Sega Royal Rumble. It was so neat because you could finally leave the ring and grab a chair and fucking clock somebody with it. They finally had that in the game. That was fun.
That's just so weird to think like that was a feature that got people excited.
Oh yeah, and you could also like inadvertently deck the ref, and then you can start eye gouging and choking people. Like if the ref was up walking around, you couldn't fucking. I think it was like A and C, like choked a guy. You couldn't fucking choke anybody, and so like you would have to like line up the ref and then like run at the ring ropes and fucking take him down, and then you could just choke the shit out of the guy for like 30 seconds and like wear his power down. That was like the hack to winning the game, was just to take out the ref and then just pretend to like repeatedly strangle the fuck out of the guy.
I mean, my first wrestling game, like, hardcore experience was Attitude, which Dan likes. I liked back then, but god damn is that game really shitty in hindsight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, nowadays that's unplayable. I liked it back in the day because it was entertaining enough.
I liked it because it was all I had.
I had Warzone before that. Warzone's worse.
Oh, I have Warzone. My mom bought me a copy of SmackDown, and then she bought me Warzone that weekend, or like a weekend later, because it was $10 at Walmart, and I played it for 1 or 2 matches, and I went, this is garbage. So I put on SmackDown. I feel like Warzone was the poor people game, and SmackDown was the cool people's game. And I had both, so I wasn't either.
Warzone was so outdated when it got released.
Yeah, it was.
I don't remember that one.
Warzone got released in 1998 and still had Bret Hart in it.
God, I remember that.
Attitude was pretty dated, too, when it came out, and WrestleMania 2000 was the worst.
Hey, I
WrestleMania
like WrestleMania
2000.
2000.
WrestleMania 2000
It wasn't a bad game.
as it was made.
No, Laddie, I'm not saying it's a bad game, I'm saying it's overly outdated.
I'm thinking about ordering a 64 right now just to get fucking revenge.
Just download an emulator and ROM, dude.
I know, but I don't like playing the fucking emulators and ROMs with 64 because of all the different buttons you got to push.
You can buy an USB controller.
Could.
Dude.
That'd be cheaper, and since you legally own the game, it's not stealing.
Oh, I wouldn't care about that
That's
anyway.
Jeff's favorite character.
What do you say about me?
WrestleMania 2000 has your favorite wrestler of all time.
Oh yeah, Ho.
The Blue Meanie.
I'm sorry, Deborah. Dude, my created wrestler would always come out to the Blue Meanies theme song and the Hardy Boys Titantron.
Because it was fucking epic for no reason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, but Laddie, well, the reason I was saying about how dated it was, it had Chaz and Meat, who were gone by November of '99. The Hardy Boys were still deep in their Michael Hayes persona.
Yeah.
And everyone was still part of a ministry. It was like really weird because all that shit had disbanded months earlier. And before anyone in the comments section goes, "Yeah, but the turnaround time on these games, like the cutoff is WrestleMania, blah blah blah." It wasn't the way it was back then. There was a time where something could happen in June and it was in the fucking game, be it a tire change or a new arena or anything. So things were different back then. It just everything was so fucking dated.
It had
was
the
weird.
Union theme.
It's true. And the game was focused around Undertaker and Stone Cold, which was fine, but it was weird because they were gone in real life. And they wouldn't be seen for many, many months. So the game's focused only on mainly on those two guys. And it's like, The Rock and Triple H are bigger, or actually, on TV. It wouldn't be until No Mercy where they had a pretty accurate game. Like, No Mercy was not dated when it came out.
Right.
What?
No Mercy's so fucking good.
I know, I could play that right now.
I cannot.
But I won't.
I can.
Well, maybe we should after the show, Dan. We'll both play it at our own separate locations, and we'll just talk about how great it is.
I like it.
Does anyone have anything else they'd like to talk about? Because we're kind of running thin. Seems like no one wants to say anything, and we'll just end the episode early.
I can't think of anything to talk about in the world of wrestling other than that guy falling off the scaffolding.
Let's talk about that then.
All right, let's talk about the guy jumping off the scaffolding and missing a fucking table.
Let's talk about some really fucked up indie botches.
God damn.
Hey, Dan, if you send me the links to these, I'll put them in the fucking podcast this week.
Alright, I will start looking on the YoTub for them.
The Crockett and Tubbs.
My question is, how does he miss that spot?
Because Joey Ryan's penis wasn't involved. I don't know.
Oh, okay. See, now that makes sense.
Did you guys hear about the vag flip that happened to Joey Ryan?
No.
Apparently, I think it was over in Japan. Like he did his normal dick flip, but then there was this one girl, or like this one woman who was left who reversed him into an arm wringer, and then she did a vagina flip instead of his dick flip that he normally does.
That is the dumbest fucking move ever.
I agree.
Like, I mean, I get, like, the Empire Elbow and other shit like that's dumb, but a dude grabs your wiener and then bumps himself. What the fuck are we talking about this for?
Welcome to 2017.
Did you see Mick Foley taking the dick flip?
Yeah, it hurt my soul.
Mick, come on, bro.
That was the worst.
It's like, dude, what are you doing? Phil's back.
What?
Loudy shared a video of NXT superstars stuck at the airport for 14 hours so they recreate Aleister Black's entrance.
It's pretty funny.
Now, the question is this. Now that Enzo is apparently a part of 205 Live, will he succeed on 205 Live, or will he just suck?
Nope.
You've already answered your own question.
All right, I just wanted to bring that up for discussion real quick, because I'm pretty sure he's just going to suck.
It's Enzo Amore. Without Big Cass, he's nothing.
He's going to come out.
He's like the road dog without Billy Gunn. It just didn't work.
He's going to come out, say the same shit he does every week, get his ass beaten, and that'll be that.
Maybe he'll do like an actual wrestling move. I said maybe.
According to, I'm looking at it now, according to Wrestling News, Rusev and Lana both asked for their release.
Ooh.
But, I don't know, let me look.
What's that going to do for Tamina?
She'll go back to
Bury her ass again.
Okay, maybe that's not true. So it says it is not the case.
Oh.
Okay. Phew.
Well, thanks for giving into the hype.
I honestly think Rusev likes working there. He just doesn't like what he has to fucking deal with. You know, losing every match.
It's because he's being booked like shit.
He can win every match that's not on pay-per-view. He's like Bray Wyatt.
I have an idea. Let's all sit down and take a second. Let's think about the career of Rusev in WWE.
Okay.
At what point can we pinpoint where it all went wrong from him being like really great to sucking and being booked terrible? Can any of
WrestleMania 31?
Huh?
Yep, that's what I was just about to say.
I was John Cena.
That's what I was thinking too. So once he lost to Cena in like 3 or 4 straight matches, it was all downhill. And then he got some.
I was gonna say it started to go downhill, and then
he built himself back up. And then what happened?
he faced John Cena,
Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns.
and then he faced John Cena again.
And then he faced John Cena. So clearly, WWE is building a storyline where John Cena and Roman Reigns will battle each other in a passing of the shovel match. It's got to be the way it's going.
But I thought Triple H held the shovel.
Yeah, but he bequeathed it to John. Big match John had.
Time out. Oh,
Roman Reigns won it from Triple H.
You said
At
queef.
WrestleMania.
Because
In the worst main event ever.
yeah, it was.
Name a shittier main event.
Until Seth Rollins cash in, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar.
The show main event.
Yeah, that one sucked mostly because like Brock was beating Roman's ass, and Roman was like laughing and like just taking the beating and acting like he was like too cool for school. And then of course he had to have his big comeback and make it look like he was about to win. Fuck him.
Fuck him right in the pussy.
Yep. Grab him by the pussy and then fuck him in it.
It's gonna be huge.
Jason Jordan, do we think he's going to stay sucking and that they're going to give up on this storyline? Do you think this is just like building something?
No,
He'll be on. He's gonna make it to Team Raw at Survivor Series, And that's about it.
Oh, Serena Dev is back.
Well, so he'll be dancing by the end of the year to like shitty music and acting cool.
Yeah, well, the cool part.
Well, to him it'll be cool.
The only funny thing about the Jason Jordan story is the fact that the internet made the joke up about him being Kurt Angle's son, and then the WWE ran with it.
Yeah, it's
Like, that's the only reason. That's the only reason I laughed at that storyline, because it's not interesting or original. It's just like, oh, the fans wrote it and they went with it. Oh, okay, cool.
Well, that, and it's not, like I said, it's not 1987. Or even 97 for that matter. It's really hard to pull off the illegitimate children's story angles and who's actually related to each other shit anymore.
But the Hornswoggle
especially
thing.
You tell me the Undertaker and Kane aren't brothers?
Yes. Like back
wait. The Hornswoggle was actually his son, right?
Oh yeah, that's totally fucking. That's 100% on the level.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you there, bud.
That's okay.
But see, back in like 96, 97, you could kind of believe that maybe the Undertaker and Kane were real brothers, just because you didn't have the access to all the information that you do now, and they were both huge, and it was like, okay, it's kind of believable. I mean, they totally overdid the story, like. Kane survived the fire because apparently now the Undertaker set fire to his family's like mortuary and killed his family, but he didn't. His brother survived. See, that part was like, okay, it's a little far fetched.
Well, now they're cool with promoting, arson and murder.
Oh yeah,
Randy Orton. The Undertaker is a legend, greatest of all time.
Well, even that, Randy Orton was a face and he burned down somebody's house. But Bray Wyatt got him back by putting Beatles on the screen.
House of Horrors.
God, I hate Bray Wyatt. That was the worst match of all time, I think.
I don't know. When he fucking when he grabbed the refrigerator and dumped it on top of him, I kind of laughed at that. I was like, okay, that's kind of funny.
I don't hate...
God, that was so stupid.
I don't hate Bray Wyatt.
He pushed a refrigerator on top of the guy. That's funny.
I don't hate Bray Wyatt. I'm just disappointed at how he's booked.
I was embarrassed to be a fucking wrestling fan on that night. That was the worst thing they've ever done.
That was really... I didn't even watch it. That was bad.
Yeah, you did. I was at your
I didn't
house.
watch it. Remember, I was hanging shit on the walls.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You were in the room. You were present. If this was a murder, you're an accessory.
I was in the match, damn it.
They filmed that in Missouri.
You're in Missouri.
I am.
The House of Horrors.
Yeah, the House of Horrors. It was filmed in Western Missouri.
But the pay-per-view was in...
California.
L.A.
Yeah. That's why, like, when Orton shows up at the house, it's, like, dark. And he leaves in the limo and it's dark. Or when Wyatt left in the limo, it was dark. And then they get to L.A. where it's light.
Well, it was,
Continuity,
they
boys.
found the house
Continuity.
the next day on a realtor site. It was for sale for, like, $36,000.
Yeah.
Bill almost bought
We
it.
didn't buy it. Why?
Because I don't have $36,000. And I don't want to move.
No, I said, why didn't we buy it collectively? We each put in about $8,000, and we hate each other for the dumbest investment ever.
That was the stupidest
That could have been
you've
Camp
ever
Kendo.
said.
No, there's already a Camp Kendo.
I don't know. I said dumber.
That would have just been like Ring Rush Worldwide. We would assemble
Titus
there
Worldwide.
we'd assemble there for pay-per-views and other special events.
Hey, we could write it off as a business expense.
Yeah.
Bought it for the show.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll buy that shit, but
I think if
I don't
the
know if
show's
that'd be a good
generating
idea, but-
income, we could probably do it, but we're not.
That means you need to tell your friends to go on YouTube, look up Ring Rust, like us on Facebook, and
Talk
get
on Twitter.
and get your rim job from Loudy. Damn it,
So.
Yeah, hashtag butt
Loudy's tongue is super wet and ready. God, stop that.
It sounds like you're trying to get water out of your
That's what it sounds
He's
like
trying
when
to get it
Bobby
out
puts
of
his
his
dick in
ass.
your ear.
Trying to get the water out of his ass.
Speaking of Loudy, do we have a part 2 to our My Immortal Hulk Hogan?
Not tonight. I'm
You
leaving you guys
son
in
of a
suspense.
It'll never happen, guys.
Should I write a new chapter
Dan?
then?
Yeah, Kendo, you go ahead and you take the reins, because Loudy dropped the ball when he got beat up by an 8th grader at fucking football
That
practice this
didn't
morning,
happen,
so-
but okay.
He dropped.
Pussy.
He didn't drop the ball. He dropped the soap.
I
At a
fell.
high school.
Well,
Coach Louderback beat Coach Sandusky.
Jerry Hermano. All right, well, that's what we'll do next week. We'll bring back My Immortal Hulk Hogan.
Brother.
You guys want to talk about a classic pay-per-view next week?
Sure.
Okay, so what decade are you guys feeling? 80s, 90s, or 2000s?
I think we should talk about one of the worst pay-per-views ever.
All
Okay,
right,
that is-
let's talk about Greed.
December to Dismember?
Oh,
Greed.
I was gonna say,
Greed.
we got No Mercy coming up. We should watch a couple No Mercies. Are there any good ones?
1999. You had you had two great matches and one good one because of The Rock's in it. You had Triple H versus Stone Cold in a title match. You had the first tag team ladder match, and you had The Rock versus the British Bulldog in a bullshit match.
If we were on the lead up,
Bullshit.
if we were on the lead up to WrestleMania, we could say, let's watch WrestleMania 9.
Dude, when we were on the lead up to WrestleMania, what we all need to do is we need to all watch every WrestleMania and then record like 10-minute reviews for each WrestleMania, and then I'll put them all together as one giant episode.
Yeah. And we could always divvy it up too. There's 5 of us, and there's 33 WrestleManias. So
I call the 5 with 17 in it.
Yeah, I'm in the 17 one. Fuck
Dan, you're my tag team partner.
Brr.
that's fine. I mean, I'll take WrestleMania 9. I've watched it a few times. I watch it on pay-per-view
Dude, well,
live.
It's not as bad as WrestleMania 11. I don't care what anyone says.
I'm trying to think about WrestleMania.
I'll go
It was-
20 through 25.
Well, let's wait the 7 months till WrestleMania
Yeah, let's
to figure this out. Because we have other things to focus on first, like, are we really going to watch Greed this week? Because I don't even... Is that a WCW show?
Yeah, it is. It's the last WCW show.
Fine, let's do Greed, because it's got to be
Is
terrible.
it on the network?
Why can't we? I think we should.
Everything's
pick one
on the
and-
network.
Yeah.
Not everything.
I'm thinking we need to have a fucking Russo booked pay-per-view though, like a WCW.
Isn't that a Russo book?
I think he was gone by then.
I thought he was there till they went out of business.
Yeah, he was.
I thought they canned him
He
before
he
then.
was gone
Tried
at
to-
this point, but at this point, there's no saving the company.
Yeah, because essentially they kicked out Bischoff in favor of Russo, and Russo fucking drove it into the ground as hard as possible. And they got rid of him and tried to bring back Bischoff to try to recapture everything, but the damage was so fucking done that it was like, yeah.
Even
there's-
Bischoff was just like, yeah, no.
Bischoff, like, he went back for the paycheck because he wasn't working at the point, and he wanted to go back to being Bischoff. But it's like, at this point, you know, it's in a no dive to the, you're never getting it out of the hole that it's in. Thank you, Vince Russo. Wait, we could do how about we review the pay-per-view that David Arquette won the fucking title?
That wasn't a pay-per-view.
That was a movie.
That was on Thunder.
Was it?
Oh, I thought that was on Ready to Rumble,
Well, then-
where he fought Jimmy the King.
No, that's why they gave him the title, was to try to, like, fucking
I
pimp
know,
the
I
movie.
know.
Oh.
That was an
I like that
episode
movie
of
a lot.
Thunder.
Well, then he lost it at a pay-per-view. I don't remember.
He did lose it at a pay-per-view. It was Slamboree 2000.
Let's just do Greed, because it's got to be terrible.
Yeah, we can do that.
I
Oh.
love watching Greed because it's so bad.
There's also New Blood Rising. Let's do Greed and then New Blood Rising for the week after.
We can literally do any WCW pay-per-view the year 2000 and onward.
Do we want to do the demise of WCW?
Yeah.
Which is... Yeah, that'd be fun.
Okay, then where does it, like, shit the bed? Like, is
2000.
that going to be
Punk of
where...
Doom.
Okay. Dan, find me a fucking specific thing to watch.
You can just do like
Where-
the
where do we
last 6
start?
pay-per-views.
New Blood
the-
Rising.
The last year and a half of pay-per-views are all garbage.
Tell me what I should start watching, because I'll put one on tonight as I'm trying to fall asleep.
New Blood Rising. I'll watch it with you.
No. If we're gonna start it, it's gonna be Sold Out 1999 is when it starts.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That's when it's
What?
going downhill. Sold Out.
What month of the
99.
year does that take place?
January.
Yeah.
So I could watch either the I Quit match between The Rock and Mankind, or whatever the fuck I'm going to watch. It's sold out. Okay, I'll do it.
This is the main event of Sold Out 99. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just read me the whole card.
Chris Benoit versus Mike Enos.
What? Is that a guy's real name?
Yeah. Norman Smiley versus Chavo Guerrero.
Oh God, I cannot wait. I'm frothing with anticipation.
Fit Finley versus Van Hammer.
Okay, who's that?
That doesn't matter. Bam Bam Bigelow versus Wrath.
Who's that?
Brian Clark.
Yeah. Formerly known as Adam Bomb.
I was gonna guess that.
Lex Luger versus Conan.
Ooh. Is Miss Elizabeth in his corner?
No. Chris Jericho versus Perry Saturn. That actually sounds fine.
Could be good.
It was Jericho with Ralphus.
Yes, Jericho is with Ralphus.
Okay, Dan.
Oh.
You should write a thesis on why Ralphus is better than Curtis Hughes.
There's 3 more matches. Hold on. Billy Kidman versus Rey Mysterio versus Juventud versus Psychosis for the Cruiserweight title. The only title match on the card.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
I'm just waiting for him to get to the main event.
Ric Flair and David Flair versus Barry Windham and Mr. Perfect. I mean, Kurt Hennig.
I didn't realize Charlotte was wrestling back then.
Yeah, that was before she had her sex change.
And the main event.
Yes.
Be quiet for this, all right? Goldberg versus Scott Hall in a stun gun ladder match.
Yes!
What? Yes! What? What is this?
Please,
what is
please
this?
tell me somebody got tased.
You don't win the win. In order to win the match, you have to tase your opponent.
Yeah. That's.
I have a question. Is this before or after the Judy Bagwell on a pole match?
That was
before.
Before. It.
Okay. So I get to watch that for our demise?
Yeah. Judy Bagwell on a pole match was like, that was in the death throes of Vince Russo's reign.
Which is 2000.
Yeah.
Okay. These fucking backcourt violations. Ugh. I'm down. Like, so I'm starting with January 99 for WCW?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start. I might put it on right now as I close out this podcast.
Dude, that means you're going to get to watch Bret Hart in his coup de grace brain injury match.
His wiener still working.
Booty grow?
Coupe de Gracie.
Nancy Gracie?
And just think, after that you got Super Bowl 9, which, yeah, has matches.
I remember going to Blockbuster and seeing fucking these WCW videotapes, and they look like shit.
I actually don't hate Spring Stampede 99, mainly because DDP wins the world title.
What? Way to root for it, buddy.
Hey, fuck you. I told you this many times.
I don't listen about DDP. I forgot DDP is like your favorite wrestler that I'm just ambivalent towards.
DDP is the only reason the beginning part of 99 isn't terrible.
Yeah.
And
Does he still have the shitty hair?
No. Yeah.
Wait. Yeah, he still had it.
He had it at the beginning, it was gone by the end.
Ooh.
I feel like I should troll you guys, and every time you watch a WCW show, I'll watch the WWF equivalent and go, well, at least I didn't want to kill myself the entire pay-per-view, but still.
Dude, I can't wait till you get to see Road Wild 99.
Oh, God. I can! So, what's the first one? Super Brawl? No. Sold Out?
Sold Out.
Yeah.
I just see Greed pop up. March 18th, 2001. Scott Steiner defends the world title against Diamond Dallas Page. Dusty and Dustin Rhodes face Ric Flair and Jeff Jarrett.
Do you want to hear the rest of the card?
Wow, when do we get to watch Mayhem? Oh, God, this looks terrible.
Which Mayhem?
Scott Steiner. 2000, Booker T defends the WCW title against Scott Steiner in a straitjacket steel cage match. And the nurse, I'm going to send you guys an image of this woman. This is the most awkward thing I've seen in a long time.
Now, Jeff, do you want to hear the WCW Greed pay-per-view?
I want to hear everything you have to tell me. All
right, this is the final pay-per-view that WCW has. stellar cast right here. Jason Jett versus Kwee-Wee.
Can you say that on air? What was that?
Elix Skipper and Romeo versus the Filthy Animals, Rey Mysterio and Billy Kidman. Meet Sean Stasiak with Stacy Keibler versus Bam Bam Bigelow. They say there's 5 stars right here. Lance Storm and Mike Awesome versus Conan and Dick to the Children, Hugh Morris. Hurricane Shane Helms versus Chavo Guerrero, only he's not the Hurricane yet, he's still a fucking gay-ass lead singer shit.
Is he in the boy... Oh, I say he's in the boy band still with whatever other homos.
They don't matter.
Billy and Cuck.
Sean O'Hare and Chuck Palumbo versus Lex Luger and Buff Bagwell.
He's buff. He's stuffed.
He's an American male.
American male.
Ernest Miller versus Who Deader Than Canyon.
Ernest the Cat Miller?
Yeah, Ernest.
Somebody
Miller.
call his mama.
Doesn't use that theme.
I know.
But did you?
Booker T versus Rick Steiner. Dusty.
Who?
Booker T versus Rick Steiner. Scott Steiner's not as good at wrestling, brother.
At least he's, he can cut a... Well, he can't cut a promo, and his math skills aren't as good either.
Dusty.
What is Rick Steiner better than Scott at?
Barking like a dog.
Barking, yeah, he was the dog.
Acting like a dog.
He lives, That's it. That's his gimmick.
I think Titus has
Fair
them all
enough.
beat. Hurrah.
Dusty and Dustin Rhodes versus Ric Flair and Jeff Jarrett in a tag match, but as it's not said on the network, if Ric Flair and Jeff Jarrett lose, one of them is supposed to kiss Dusty Rhodes' ass.
Ugh. That's a rotten ass now.
Well, during
His
the,
muffler fell out. It was rotten back then.
during the night, it's rotten because in story, he eats about 800 burritos before their match.
Ugh.
And then Scott Steiner and DDP for the title.
It's me. Is D.
And at that point, the title's worth about 10 cents.
I just can't wait to watch Goldberg and Scott Hall in a stun gun ladder
Yeah,
match.
that's a good one. Now, Jeff, here's the pay-per-view I would like you to watch as well whenever you're done with all that stuff. This is the complete fucking nadir right here.
Okay.
This is WCW New Blood Rising from the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, British Columbia.
It's such a terrible show.
You want to hear the attendance number for that show?
Yeah.
6,614
Oh, wow.
For a pay-per-view?
for the pay-per-view in the Pacific Coliseum. And the Pacific Coliseum holds 16,000 for ice hockey, 17.5 for concerts. So for wrestling, you got to figure it could hold up to probably like 18. And they put
17 or 18.
They got a third of it filled. Here's the card, and this is where it's good.
When you're done with that, I'll read Creed's attendance record.
Oh, good. 3 count takes on the Young Dragons. The Great Muta versus Ernest Miller. Here's the piece de resistance. Buff Bagwell versus Canyon and the Judy Bagwell on a forklift match.
Yes!
A 4 corners match for the WCW Tag Team titles involving The Perfect Event, Sean O'Hare and Mark Jindrak, The Misfits in Action versus Chronic, with Disco, Tigress, Rey Mysterio Jr., and Juventud Guerrero, all as special guest referees.
Oh, fantastic.
What?
Shane Douglas and Billy Kidman in a strap match. Major Guns and Miss Hancock in a mud rip off the clothes match.
Okay, I'm into that.
The Demon versus Sting in just a regular singles match. So it's the first one on the card not to have a fucked up
Demon
thing.
Sting?
The Kiss Demon versus Sting?
The Kiss Demon, yes.
I believe so, yeah. I believe it was the Kiss
Is it?
Demon.
How could you tell the difference from the crowd?
Mike Awesome and Lance Storm in a Canadian rules match for the WCW United States title with Jacques Rougeau as special guest referee.
So did they just apologize the entire match?
I was going to say when they count the pin, they got to say A in between.
According to this, the Canadian rules means that instead of a traditional 3 count, the referee must administer a 5 count. Following the 5 count, the competitor has to stay down for 10 seconds. If both men are down for a 10 count for any reason, the first man who gets to his feet wins. In addition, there are no submissions or count out in a Canadian rules match, apparently.
Terrible.
That sounds terrible.
Then in double...
Stu Hart is rolling
you
over
just
in his
said they
grave.
have to be counted to 10. That's a count out.
On the
count,
No,
count out
ring.
outside the ring. In the double duty match, the Chronic has to once again take on competitors in the Dark Carnival, which is Vampiro and the Great Muta. Kevin Nash takes on Scott Steiner and Goldberg in a triple threat match. This match is great because apparently Goldberg misses most of the match with a kayfabe motorcycle accident and shows up halfway through and then walks out after refusing to take a power bomb from Kevin Nash. And then
I remember that. That's great.
And then for the WCW World Heavyweight titles, Booker T takes on Slapnuts.
I hate Jeff Jarrett.
So this is I don't know if Russo was still around at this time, but it has to because there's a fork, the Judy Bagwell on the forklift. This screams Vince Russo's fingers all over it. I might watch this tonight just to make myself feel horrible.
Hold on. I think I found a pay-per-view with a worse attendance.
Okay.
Well, before that, WCW Greed's attendance, 5,030. WCW
Jesus.
Super Brawl Revenge, February 2001, in Nashville, 4,395.
God damn.
There you go. WCW Mayhem, 3,800 in the Wisconsin Center Arena in Milwaukee. Here you go. Starrcade, which is their WrestleMania in 2000, drew 6,500 to the MCI Center in Washington D.C.
Hey, what was that number at the Washington MCI Center?
6596, so 6,600.
And what year was that?
December of 2000.
Hold on, now I'm gonna look up the attendance for Backlash that year because it was in the same building, same year.
I'm sure they sold out.
It had attendance of 19,100.
Yeah, there's a big discrepancy there.
I don't know about that. It seems pretty close if you ask me. What was on that card of the shitty pay-per-view you just said?
Starrcade 2000, that one at the barely sold out MCI Center.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have 3 count versus the Young Dragons. Lance Storm versus Ernest Miller. Terry Funk versus Crowbar. Big Vito and Reno versus Chronic. Bam Bam Bigelow versus Mike Awesome in an ambulance match. General Reaction versus Shane Douglas for the U.S. Championship. A bunkhouse brawl between the Filthy Animals and the Harris Brothers with Jeff Jarrett. The Insiders versus the Perfect Event for the tag title. A no-holds-barred match between Goldberg and Lex Luger. And the WCW title match between Scott Steiner and Sid Vicious.
Well, I think Backlash wins, because listen to this card. Edge and Christian... Crap, I just had it pulled up. Edge and Christian versus DX for the tag team
Already
titles.
better. Done.
Yeah, Dean Malenko versus Scotty 2 Hotty for the light heavyweight. Big Boss Man and Bull Buchanan versus the APA. Crash Holly versus Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Hardcore Holly, Perry Saturn and Taz for the Hardcore Championship. Big Show versus Kurt Angle. TNA versus the Dudley Boys in a tag team match. Eddie Guerrero with Chyna versus S.A. Rios and Lita. Chris Benoit defeats Chris Jericho by DQ. Sorry to spoil that one. And The Rock with Stone Cold defeat Triple H, Vince McMahon. Triple H with Vince, Stephanie, Shane, and the Stooges. So, yeah, Backlash.
Well,
much better.
Here's the main event, and here's the general synopsis of that main event. I'll read it out for you because it's not very long. The main event was between Sid Vicious and Scott Steiner for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. The match started back and forth until they went outside the ring, and Medaja, who accompanied Steiner, attacked Vicious with a lead pipe. Steiner attacked Vicious with a steel chair and gained the advantage, applying the Steiner recliner. Vicious fought back after Medaja accidentally performed a diving crossbody to Steiner. Vicious performed a choke slam and applied the Cobra Clutch. Medaja distracted Vicious and allowed Steiner to attack him with the lead pipe. Jarrett came out and accidentally hit Steiner with his guitar. Steiner fought back with a low blow and a T-bone suplex. Steiner made Vicious pass out with the Steiner recliner to win the match and retain the title.
While we're on the point of shit WCW, What Culture put out a list, the 9 worst WCW pay-per-views of all time.
Please.
Would you like to close out the episode with
Sure.
that?
Yes.
Okay, so number 9 is Slamboree 2000.
Yes.
Heading into Slamboree 2000, David Arquette was the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Just let that sink in for a moment. The 5'10", 160-pound actor won the title and held it long enough to walk into a WCW pay-per-view wearing it around his waist. So, strike one, Slamboree. Everything leading up to that was pretty much standard mixed bag for WCW. The opening match was a botch fest, and then there was a hot mess of a hardcore match between the usually reliable Terry Funk and Norman Smiley. But then Scott Steiner actually put on a match with Hugh G. Rection, that was worth watching. And both Mike Awesome and Chris Kanyon looked pretty solid in their match too. Then, just as it looks like this turns out to be a halfway decent event, the ridiculous amount of interference starts to set in. Roughly 2/3 of the matches had at least one person interfering. One of the few clean finishes, thankfully, was Sting versus Vampiro, which was the standout of the night. So naturally, it was one of the shortest of the night as well. As for the actual main event, a triple threat cage match was honestly better than it had any right to be. Oh man, an ad loaded. Hold on. I can't read it because the ad froze.
I sort of ironically miss WCW right now.
I just wish WWE had competition, so they'd have to be good.
Yeah, that would be perfect. But even after WCW died out, WWF still brought some pretty good performances for a while.
Up until about 2007 when they went PG.
Yeah.
When Benoit died, that's when wrestling to me got really unwatchable.
So theoretically, you could say that not only did Benoit murder his family and himself, he murdered wrestling interest.
You selfish son of a bitch.
God damn it, Benoit, you
go.
murdered wrestling.
Hey, Dan, number 8, Halloween Havoc 1995. Or the one time where they yet tagged dry humped Hulk Hogan for an uncomfortable amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 7. Let's see what that'll be. Uncensored 1996. Or the one with the giant cage monstrosity. It was a 2-tiered cage.
Yes, that was horrible.
This looks terrible.
Yeah, it was like, just logistically, it was just crap.
The picture. Like Hulk Hogan looks like he's shitting his pants in this
He
cage.
probably is. You get that old man, incontinence kicks in.
Here we go, Starrcade 97, or the one with the most anticlimactic dream match of all time.
I tried.
Sting versus Hogan.
I tried watching that. It was really boring.
Fuck you, Hulk Hogan. Number 5, Super Brawl 2000, or the one where James Brown stole the show. The images of him and Ernest the Cat Miller in the middle of the ring. Here we go. The next one. WCW. Come on, load, you fuck. What called? The Great American Bash 1991, or the one with all the talent wasted. Who's that fat guy?
The Shockmaster.
Steve Austin was put into a tag team capture the flag scaffold match.
Oh,
What? Kevin Nash
what?
wrestled as
I missed
Oz.
this.
Razor. This was Great American Bash 91.
that sounds like... I think I'm going to go through and watch all of these.
Razor Ramon was in his diamond stud phase. Brian Pillman was pulling a Hulk Hogan Mr. America ruse, wrestling in a mask and calling himself the Yellow Dog.
Yeah, I'm looking at the match card right now.
All in all, this is a great pay-per-view to watch if you're curious to know whether it's possible to make obvious superstars in the making look completely pitiful. Otherwise, stay away. Okay, number 3, Uncensored 2000. Or the one where literally no one cared about anything anymore.
Dude, no, there's one part in Uncensored 2000 that I honestly loved. Other than the whole Hulk Hogan being unable to say Yappa Pie Indian strap match.
Oh, here we go. Number 2, Sold Out 2000.
Oh,
or
yeah.
the one with no logic whatsoever. Yeah. Benoit versus Sid.
The one that happened in Cincinnati.
And number 1, New Blood Rising. Or the one named after a stable that didn't even exist by the time it's aired.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to watch all these, but for real, we should start with WCW Sold Out 99. What we'll do on Ring Rust is we could do, like, for weeks we don't have to talk about a pay-per-view, we should do our list of WCW events and just shit on them.
Done. Sold Out 99 first.
Yep. I'll watch that tonight.
We'll start. Yeah, I'm going to put it on a minute. Like, after we close this baby out, I'm going to fucking... I already got it queued up on my TV. I'm looking right at the screen. It looks just like the the Sold Out 98 screen. Except it doesn't say the words 1998.
Sold Out was a flop to begin with because the whole idea for Sold Out was because that was still in the whole, like, the idea that NWO was different. I almost said NWA. NWO was different than WCW. So that was their pay-per-view. That was going to be their pay-per-view was the Sold Out, and no one really seemed to care. So what's number 9?
You're going up against the Royal... When you're going up...
Or which one are we starting with? Which one are we starting with? Sold Out 99.
Sold Out 99.
Sold Out.
All right.
Yeah.
I have the complete... I'll have the complete list queued up on my laptop.
All right. I like this direction that we're taking the show.
Sold
so does anyone have
out.
anything else they'd like to say before we put this baby to bed?
If
give me a
if you want to join us in this torture, go watch Sold Out 1999 right now, and then next week you'll hear us bitch about it.
Here's the
Yeah, this episode is going to air tomorrow, so watch it as soon as you hear us say this.
Here's the last thing I've got to say, and I'm reading on Greed and the Aftermath section. So it talks about how essentially they were bought out and blah, blah, blah. The last paragraph is the interesting one. Despite his contract being under WCW, Jeff Jarrett was fired by Vince McMahon upon his acquisition of WCW, having no interest in Jarrett.
I remember that. It was awesome.
Yeah. Essentially, Vince was like, we'll try to, like, there was the guaranteed contract people, and they're like, yeah, we're waiting until our money runs out. We're going to go ahead and just enjoy getting fucking paid and not having to do anything. And then there was the people that came over, and then there was Jeff Jarrett, like one of the only casualties that was like a right-away casualty. It was just like straight out, nope, fuck you. Yeah, fuck you, Jeff Jarrett. Have fun, slap nuts.
I hate Double J Jeff Jarrett. He is a shit wrestler.
It was hilarious
J-A-R-R-E-T-T.
Because they did that. He did that on Raw right before WrestleMania 17.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, Jeff Jarrett used to spell his name J-E-F-F-E-T-T. Now it's G-O-O-N-E. God.
Didn't Vince say that?
Yeah. That was
awesome.
That was a legit firing.
Yeah,
Vince could say some good shit when he wanted to.
He legit hated Jeff Jarrett.
Well, Jeff Jarrett did kind of hold him for ransom for $500,000 to lose to China.
It's true, and the best part is Jeff Jarrett wasn't even that good.
Hey, Vince paid him, though.
I love it if in the Rise and Fall of WCW DVD they have, which is also on the network.
Yep, I actually own that one, too.
They get to the point where Jeff Jarrett's in the company and everybody's just like, he honestly thought in his little fucking stupid-ass Tennessee head that he was bigger than Hulk Hogan.
I think I might actually watch that instead of the pay-per-view and then watch the pay-per-view afterwards. I just want to watch Rise and Fall again. I don't buy many wrestling DVDs, but that's one I definitely bought at a used store for like $5.
We should watch Sold Out together. I'm getting ready to turn it on. We should at least watch the first match
All right.
together. We can commentate
All
it.
right. Shit, drunken commentary for.
What's the
fucking
first
Ring
match? Chris Benoit versus Mike Anus.
It's Enos.
Sorry. Anus.
Damn it, I thought you would get the Family Guy reference. Never mind. He goes about, I can be Boss Hog and you can be Anus.
You mean Anus.
It's Enos. What'd I say? Anus.
Yeah.
And he just starts laughing.
Watch Camp WWE anytime on demand. No, thank you.
I liked Camp WWE.
Of course
I
you
did
did,
too.
Loudy.
This Vince says fuck like 800 times.
I watched the first couple episodes and I was like, all right, this is all right. And then after, like, I think it was like the third one, I was like, eh.
I'd say there was only like 4 of them.
I think there might have been 6 overall. All right, Jeff, I got mine queued up to where it's first thing that pops up. It says World Championship Wrestling Special Report, and I paused it.
Okay, I guess I should do that too. So, this has been Ring Rust Episode 7, where we discussed SummerSlam and the downfall of the WCW. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up, because we have 21 subscribers, and I would love for this channel to grow beyond 21 subscribers.
Yeah, 25.
Yeah, can we get to 30 by the end of the year? That's all I'm asking. That's not too much.
50 or bust.
50 or bust. Motherfuckers, just subscribe to this channel, or else we're gonna fucking find you.
And kill you.
And eat your babies.
Put your mom on a forklift.
Yeah. Fucking,
And Buff Bagwell
style. Do that, or Judy Bagwell's gonna queef in your face.
Woo!
Gross.
That'll be dusty.
Ugh. Anyway, thanks for listening, and let's come up with a good outro. Does anyone have any suggestions?
No.
Fuck off, slap nuts.
Are you sure you don't have a good one?
Don't win the Judy Bagwell on a pole match.
How
Don't
about
participate in the Judy Bagwell in a pole match.
Judy in the Bagwell.
Judy in the Bagwell, baby.
Judy in the Bagwell.
That's the last
I'd
night
like
of the
to-
match.
Yeah. Last night of the match, Judy in a Bagwell.
How about we end it with Kenny? Anybody else gonna go?
Danny!
Dude, Johnny! Mitch! Mickey!
No!
Coach Loudy.
I'm using my real name. Danny!
The doctor.
Balls.
Coach Loudy.
I'm gonna end it with
Bob
this.
Dole!
You guys can... Here, click on this link, and this is how I'm gonna end the show. You'll thank me later.
Will we?
Yeah, you'll actually thank me right now, because it'll make you laugh your ass off. There you go. There you go. You're welcome. All right, we'll be back next week with some WCW.
We're going to chart
Quality
the
entertainment.
death of WCW.
Shit.
I should draw up a fucking graph, and each week we pinpoint where it goes up or down. What's the highlight of our time frame? We'll discuss that more in depth next
Pre-Vince
week.
Russo.
So, thanks for watching, and we'll be back later.
Timmer!
Wow.